On March the 25th, 2022, the biggest Apex leak ever took place, where 27 months of content was leaked to the public when somebody got their hands on a developer build. So 27 months later, what did we get? And also, what didn't we get? Because there's a lot of stuff that Respawn were working on that just never came to be, and it's really cool to look at, honestly. Well, first of all, let's start out with the most notorious thing from this leak, the Legends roster. Bear in mind though, when this Legend roster got leaked, we didn't even have Newcastle yet. So from this Legend roster, we did get Newcastle, we did get Vantage, we did get Catalyst, we did get Conduit, and we did get Caliber, who we think was eventually moved on to being Ballistic. And crazily enough, this season, season 21, was the first season where we didn't get a Legends that was leaked all those years ago. Obviously with Alter. Even though Alter uses old Revenant abilities, which is just a can of worms I don't want to open right now. But the Legends we didn't get were Jester, Phantom, Scrier, and Uplink. So what did these Legends do? Because we may just get them one day. Well, first of all, we have Scrier, whose passive is to spectate your killer, which is dumb because this passive only works when you die and your team is still alive. Their tactical was to Optic Haunt, which is a parasite trap that reveals the target's vision. And the strange thing is, we did see gameplay of this ability, but never how it truly worked. This is literally all we saw. And Scryer's ultimate was this, which was later repurposed to be Catalyst's ultimate ability, which means Scrier is probably completely scrapped. And if you're wondering what Catalyst's ultimate was before it was replaced with Scrier's ultimate, it was this. Yeah, no wonder it was replaced. Jester is the next Legend out of this roster that Respawn were cooking, but I think they were doing more burning than cooking, because Jester's tactical ability was a Spectre drop, where he would cool down 3 Spectres to guard one area, and you can only have one of these active at a time, which is an extremely strange passive and wouldn't work in buildings, and there'll just be so many issues to this thing. Jester's ultimate would create a short-lived cloaking device that hides all players in the small area. The cloak lasts for 6 seconds after you leave the cloak field, which is honestly a really cool idea because you could gather all your team up in one place, drop a cloak, and then you're all invisible to rush enemies for 6 whole seconds, which is pretty cool. Jester's passive was really interesting actually. You can turn any grenade into a proximity mine that you can stick to surfaces by pressing B. I can imagine mixing this passive with kidnapping people with Wraith would be absolutely insane. Also, Jester was a scrapped pilot from Titanfall 2, so maybe Jester could have been a pilot, which would have been pretty awesome to see. And also, Jester is a simulacrum, so this would have been a new simulacrum legend. But honestly, I think Jester may be scrapped once again, because these abilities are just dumb, honestly. And I think if they're released, people wouldn't be happy with them. They definitely need some work, but I would love Jester as a character concept to come to Apex. Uplink is the next legend that we haven't got yet, or we may never get, and their abilities are very Overwatch-like, specifically Baptiste, because his ultimate is an immortality relay beacon, a deployable satellite beacon that prevents allies in the signal area from being downed. And honestly, I think this is scrapped because this is such a crazy ability in Apex specifically. Maybe it works in other games, but in Apex, I think it might be a bit too powerful. His tactical was a shield satellite, which is a satellite that follows friendlies to regenerate their shields and revive, which honestly also makes me think Uplink is definitely scrapped because Conduit is kind of now the shield given legend, and he had a passive that just boosted some legend statistics if they were in his area. The last legend that we didn't get off this roster was Phantom, who definitely seems like an insane legend honestly, because his passive was literally a double jump. As simple as that, kind of a pilot ability. His tactical was a hook shot where you hook yourself off a wall and hang from it, which honestly, let's be real for a moment, it's cool but definitely useless compared to the tactical abilities we are getting now. And his ultimate ability is a void grenade that would put anybody in its radius into the void, which is literally Fade's ability from Apex Mobile, which is strange, which makes a lot of us think Phantom was just a code name for Fade, and Respawn were planning to bring Fade to the Apex PC edition, but we will probably never know, because once again, I'm fairly sure this legend is scrapped again, if not heavily reworked. On top of that, from this roster, there was a legend called Caliber in it, who was reworked into being Ballistic. As you can see, Caliber's abilities are very similar to Ballistic, having a weapon sling that allows you to store a third weapon, and also an unlimited ammo boost for your team. At the time though, Ballistic's ammo boost wasn't just a thing where he smashed both of his fists together, he would actually put down a physical ammo box, and also his tactical was the ability to put down an actual turret. Yeah, Ballistic's Whistler right now is definitely the better decision instead of a turret. That's not it for these leaks though, because these leaks covered a lot, and loads of stuff unfortunately got scrapped, and it seems a lot of the stuff got scrapped because it was in development for arenas, and we all know what happened to arenas. First of all, we saw this pretty intense map that was leaked to be an arenas map, and it looks really cool. It reminds me of the Harvester from World's Edge. This does look like a small, solid map, especially made for 3v3, but obviously, Respawn couldn't even repurpose this one into a team deathmatch map, I guess, because it is just a bit small. Although the vibes of this map look awesome, and I would have loved to have known the lore before we unfortunately lost it, I guess. One that will make everyone pretty mad was this map in development for arenas once again. This is a really awesome Viking themed map. You can see right here there is a statue of a Viking with 2 spears, and then right next to him is one of the team spawns. This looks like a really fun map to play on, but honestly seems a bit open, and once again it was probably scrapped because arenas was deleted from the game. I'm assuming because of the snow on this map and the trees being from World's Edge, this map would have been related to Bloodhound and would have likely been something to do with Bloodhound's Old Ways tribe. I really hope this one does come back to be a team deathmatch map in the future, but it's been 2 years since we saw it this deep into development, so honestly, I kind of have no hope. Another map we saw is this, which seems to be a big city and looks very Titanfall 2-like. Most likely from the track going through the middle that does give heavy Eden vibes. At the time 2 years ago, this map did seem to need a bit of polish, but once again, I think it died in the arenas purge. At the time of these leaks, Respawn were developing new modes, which were Team Deathmatch, Gun Run, and also this mode. Before we get onto that mode though, Respawn were specifically developing TDM only maps. This was meant to be a team deathmatch map. As you can see, there is an ancient version of the user interface at the top, but unfortunately I guess it was scrapped because it's been 2 years and we haven't got this. It seemed like a really cool map. It seems like it was a city set in a tropical area, but maybe Respawn decided to not use this map because they were reusing that idea for the next actual Battle Royale map, which is going to be District, which is a city map that is set only a few hundred kilometers away from the Stormpoint map, so it would still be a map in a tropical area. So maybe don't be too mad about losing a whole team deathmatch city map because it probably did get reused heavily in the next Battle Royale map. As a reference for how old these leaks were, this is an old version of Gun Run and the user interface honestly looks pretty sad, although the leaker did showcase an early version of the solo school town map. While Respawn were cooking Gun Run and Team Deathmatch, they were also cooking another mode. In this mode, you would pick up a ball from your side and then deliver it to their enemy's goal. And Respawn probably have their reasons for not bringing this mode to the game, but the thing I want you to focus on is the fact that this map Respawn are showcasing here is a map from Titanfall 2, specifically this colony map right here. The crazy part is though, this map wasn't straight up ported from Titanfall 2, it actually had changes specifically for Apex. What are these changes? Well, this map actually takes place inside a simulation dome, which is the same one used on the school town map right now. And if we go all the way back to Titanfall 2, this simulation dome is not present in the original colony map. And there were a lot of leaks around this time that Respawn was straight up planning to just port a load of old Titanfall 2 maps into Apex Legends, but for whatever reason, they decided not to, because once again, it's been 2 years since this leak. If they wanted to get these maps into Apex, they would be in Apex right now. I'm still holding out hope one day though that we do get Angel City in Apex because it would be so fun. Respawn probably realised though, after a lot of playtesting, maps specifically made for Titanfall where you're going to have Titans running around in the map and also pilots with wall run and double jump didn't mix well with the gameplay and movement of Apex Legends, which is an unfortunate truth of Titanfall maps. They are specifically made to have giant robots walking through them and people who can wall run, not our sad little legends. During these leaks we did also see Broken Moon in development back when it was called Divided Moon, and honestly, the leaked version was very similar to the original Broken Moon when it first came out, apart from one key thing. Broken Moon was originally going to have floating islands littered around the map. I mean, just look at that. That would be pretty cool to fight on, but it would definitely be very disorientating. Although this is like the ultimate method to get high ground, just have the ground take you high. I can definitely see why Respawn scrapped this one because it is a cool gimmick, but there are so many legend abilities that I can see clashing with this. Like, if you put a conduit ult down on there, is it really going to work? If you put an ultra tactical through there, is it really going to work? Considering at the start of the season, if you put an ultra portal into an armory, it will crash the server. I dread to think what would happen to the server if you put an ultra portal onto one of these. There's one thing from these leaks though that Respawn scrapped, which honestly was a good idea for Respawn to scrap. This thing being a firing range rework. It was leaked at the time that Respawn were reworking the firing range to add more accessibility, like new ways to shoot shoot the dummies, new buttons to change how the targets work, and just tiny little buttons that would change various aspects of the firing range. But luckily Respawn scrapped this to go with a bigger firing range overhaul where they would just straight up replace the firing range and completely rework every aspect of it. So luckily we didn't get stuck with these dumb buttons, and instead we went to this beautiful place, which I mean, look back to the old firing range. This new one is 10 times better and you can't deny it. Plus we get the Nessie Easter eggs. If Respawn never went through with making a new firing range, we would have never had the Nessie challenges, which would have sucked. Before the original firing range rework was cancelled, Respawn did get quite deep in, as we saw from this image they published, which showed in the background of the original firing range there was some new buildings. But that was the last we ever heard of that, and 2 to 3 seasons later I think we did get the revamped brand new firing range. Obviously maybe not everything in this video was scrapped, because Respawn are known to take concepts that they had 5 years ago and then reuse them in Apex. But for now, I would assume a lot of this stuff is no longer in development for one reason or another. I'm sure though eventually we will see some of this stuff come in the future. But subscribe if you want Respawn to add Titanfall maps to Apex.